Make sure you join our Facebook group, Girl How You Do That. And make sure you watch the entire tutorial as I answer most of the common questions in the video, guys. Please watch the whole thing.
You want to start off with create a new design, and we're going to design the same size as our picture frame. And most of our picture frames are 8 by 10, or in this case, since we want to rotate it, it's going to be 10 by 8. And we're going to hit create a new design. Once we get into Canva, I wanted to choose a background that I saw fit. And for the tutorial, I'm going to go to elements and we're going to select blue background. And you're going to choose the background that you like. I'm also going to be using my rulers and guides for this part. If yours aren't turned on like mine, you're going to go to File, Settings, and Show Rulers and Guides. So let's get back to my blue background. And I'm going to choose one. I like this one here with this ombre. And you're going to stretch it out to fit the entire background. The next thing you want to do, this is optional, but I like to know exactly where I am, where my limitations are. So I like to give myself about a 0.25 area to remind myself not to go over. Now you could do a 1/2 inch if you want to, that's even more safe. Let's go ahead and do about a 1/2 inch. So we can guesstimate, it doesn't have to be perfect. You also do not have to do this, but this will keep you safe. So guys, it's not perfect. Remember, we're just giving some basic lines. But 0.25 or 0.5, somewhere there along there is great. And you just have to hold down your mouse and click on the actual ruler and you'll get these purple lines. And these purple lines are meant to help keep us inside of this area when we are designing so we don't go outside
for me. The next thing I did was I wanted to fade a rose in the background. So I just typed in blue rose. And I chose like this little water lily watercolor, like that did it for me. And I just sized it down. So remember, anything that's not in here and those purple lines may or may not print. And so I'm going to duplicate this. Boom. And then I'm going to hold down the shift button, go to position, and I'm going to line them to the top to make sure they're all the same. Now, here's something that a lot of people don't know, your transparency. If you want all your roses to fit, guys, you could do that there, whatever. But is your transparency. With all of these selected, I'm going to group them together so this way they move together. And then I'm going to use my transparency and I'm going to bring this down. Like I want you to be able to see it, but I don't want you to. And that just makes it a little bit prettier for me, just personally, personal thought. Next part is I'm going to go to my frames, and frames are what we insert pictures into. So I'm going to look up the letter M frame. And I like this chunky one. If you want to use different ones, they do have them there, but I'm going to stick to what I know. And then you do the same thing for all of the letters, but for the most part, we're really only using 3. And what I mean by, I know, we're going to say mommy, but we're only using, well, 4, MOMMY. So we're using 4 letters, but we're going to spell it out. If that don't make sense, it'll make sense in like 2 seconds. I'm looking for the letter Y. So let's type in letter Y frame. I'm going to go with this one. And that's what I mean, just by the 4 letters. Actually, you could do this. Let's do this. Let's delete that. There we go. See, my brain was overthinking it. I didn't mean 3. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I'm just going to pick a size, okay? Do y'all see right there? It says 1.6 by 2. We're going to do this based upon the height. I don't care about the width. I only care about the height. So now all the rest of my other letters, in this case is simple because there's only 3 of them, need to be a...
So you want the height of all your letters to be a minimum of 2. So as long as they're 2 or more in this instance, it's going to work, okay? And so I'm just lining them up to make sure they're even.
And I'm going to duplicate my M. And y'all see how Canva's telling me the spacing in between? And duplicate it again. Get my spacing in between. And then my Y, we're doing the same thing. By my 2, and that looks good, okay? So let's do the spacing. Perfect. So now they're all the same size, right? As far as height is concerned, it looks equivalent. You could use a different or a chunkier Y. I might use this one. Let's go with this one instead, just because we want to have more space. Now, what we may run into is certain pictures are harder to fit in the frames, just because of how the picture itself is. So just be mindful of that. So I like to hold down my shift button and we're gonna hit group. And remember, our goal is to stay in this design area because our frame actually might cut some of this off and I don't want that to happen. And you're gonna gather your pictures. You're gonna go to uploads and upload your files and you will put them inside of Canva, okay? I'm using these pictures of my kiddos. I'm just gonna choose random ones. Let me use the same ones I used for this right here. So this is what we're attempting to do. I'm gonna leave that smaller for me because I'm like, okay, yeah. So that's what we're doing, okay? I'm gonna use, where'd it go? This picture here. And when it comes to a frame, you just slide it inside like that. Like that one fit perfectly, no problem. I can see both my kids' faces, perfect. And then I'm gonna take this photo here, and this is gonna go to the O. And you'll see sometimes if it gets cut off, you may have to move it. So let's ungroup it. And we're gonna double click right here, okay, on this O. It wants to be difficult right now. Let's try this again. Let's delete the frame. Delete the image, not the frame. Let's do this again. I'm gonna ungroup it. Yeah, it wants to be special. I'm gonna slide it over into, let's go over some more. There we go. And then when you double click on it, now you can move it into the position that you want it to be in. And so now I can see most of my face and most of my son's face. So I'm gonna move this over. And then if you need to make it bigger or smaller, you can, okay? So we're gonna continue to do that for all of them. Girl in there, double click. And here, if I need to make her bigger so you can see her more, I'm gonna do what I can, okay? That's perfect. And then this one here. And double click and move it. And I remember I did ungroup them. I went back to ungroup. And then this one here. And double click. And there we go. I can see most of their faces. And so what we're gonna do, let's go back and group them together because now we're done with these, okay? If for some reason you go to group them and it's not even, go to position and you can go to middle. It's gonna line them in the middle. You can line them at the bottom or the top, okay? So that's something you're gonna play around with your alignment, and I'm gonna go with the middle. Right, so the next part, go to text, and it is out of all the moms in the world. I'm glad you are mom. Okay, so we're going to spread this out. And we want to make sure that it goes across the entire page. So let's use our diagonal size it, and then we're going to pull this tab all the way through. And you're going to do this. Now, of course, it's a little bit small. We can always make some adjustments. Remember our little guide boxes. Again, you do not have to. You can eyeball this perfectly fine. But Canva's let me know, hey, that's in the middle. Cool. Now, fonts. The font that I use for this, it was called, of course, as soon as I get on here with you guys, I do not remember. Scrolling, Calling Hearts. There we go. It is called Calling Hearts. I like Calling Hearts because even though it is a cursive font, you actually can still read what it says very clearly. And when I stretch it, I like how it's bigger when it's stretched, if that makes sense. So that's Calling Hearts. But let's just say you're inside of Canva and you want something different. You can actually type in script, and it's going to give you either the script fonts that you have or script fonts that are in Canva, and there is a plethora of them, okay? That's what I mean by use Canva for what it's for. Literally, anything that has script in it or script type font is going to come up. So when I got ready to do my kids' names, on the bottom side, y'all know I'm the queen of duplicating, but we're not going to do that. We're going to do add a heading, and I'm going to do Chase, Emmy, June's kind of out of order, and then we'll do Kelvin. Okay, same thing, stretch it out, and then make it smaller. Okay, and make sure it's in the middle. Okay, and the reason why you could do commas, I was gonna do hearts in between the names. I think that's cute. The only reason why I did not add commas is because I wanted to look like my kid or a kid wrote it. And my kids are younger, except for my oldest one. They really wouldn't be worried about a comma. Okay, so I was like, I think it makes it look more realistic to me. But if you are a stickler, do that. So when you go inside of Canva and you're looking for kid fonts, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to type in the word kid. And the name of the font that I'm actually using is called Kid. But again, it's going to give you fonts that are very, very childlike. So there's that. These are some that literally look like a child wrote it. And I think that just makes this so much more realistic, in my opinion. So when you have time, check those out. You can also go to dafont.com. That's another one. But this one that I'm using in particular that does not want to show up right now, it is called Kid, and that was downloaded from dafont.com. I see it, but I don't see it. So I'm gonna just roll with it. It's supposed to be in here, but it's really not coming up. There we go. There we go. Okay. So there's that font. It's called Kids. And that came from Dafont. There we go. And so what I also did is let's grab this heart, and I put inside of Elements, I typed in heart scribble or scribble heart, and I like this one, and I wanted to keep it black, and so I just took that and I sized it down, and everything is eyeballed, y'all. Everything is eyeballed. And then I repeated the same kid font because I just thought it was really cute. And I put Mother's Day because it just looks so childish. I love it. And then the 2024, that's not the kid font, because once you do that, to me, that was I didn't like that font paired with that. And so I just chose one of my fonts that was inside of Canva. And I changed it and I just put 2024. I was like, that doesn't really go. So there we go. There we go. And make sure it's lined up. We don't want it too big. So this one here is 34.2. So I want to make sure this one also is close to it. Not too big, not too big. There we go. So now we have our bottom, right? We have out of all the moms in the world. And I just left that there for reference. What we're going to do, hold down your shift button. Y'all going to see when I hold down mine because my computer cannot let me know. I stick keys. So I'm holding down shift and I'm grouping all of this together. And so this way it all should move together as one. I cannot reach that one right there. So this way, if we need to resize it, we can. Let me see if I can get it to do that. If not, it's cool. Let's try it again with the group, and I'm gonna start at the bottom. There we go. So I'm at the bottom now, and I'm going to group all of these together. And let's try to move them now. And I still forgot the heart, but y'all get what I'm saying. So we're gonna group all of them together. Y'all know when stuff don't want to work right. I'm making this a little bit bigger. My heart is fine the same size, it's just not the position. And I'm gonna take that final picture of my children and I. This picture is so old. And we're gonna do a background remover. So go to edit photo. And you're gonna do a background remover. Remember, this is a pro function. And the thing about frames, you have to be mindful. Do y'all see that? That will happen if you're not. And we're gonna size this down. I know it's small right now. And then we're also, because we grouped all this together except for that heart that did not want to move, is I'm going to first move this over because I know it's about to be a pain. And I'm going to move this down in center. And then I'm going to take my picture now, and now I can focus on making this bigger. Let's make it bigger, bigger, bigger. And because of how my picture is, remember I said my son's head got cut off a little bit. Yep, it is what it is. His little high top fade, it wasn't horrible. You guys will see in the final photo. And my position, and I'm going backwards. Now, if you want to, you can bring this down. I don't like how that shows through. I kind of want it to measure up or line up with my photos there, with my frames. So I'm gonna go here with, I told y'all that high top fade of my son's back there. There we go. And now this is blocking the photo. So now I have to move this up. I don't want my words over their faces. So I'm gonna not ungroup it. We're just gonna move it down a teensy bit more, just a little bit, because now I can see the baby's face. And then I'm gonna ungroup this. Move this down some more. And don't be afraid to, like, play with your sizing. As long as my son's head is in the picture, I really don't care too much about his crazy hair getting cut off. And I was okay with this. And move my heart back over. And then another thing we did, remember we did a transparency for the roses. We're gonna do the transparency again for this photo here. Don't do this. Do this to your liking, okay? You don't have to, honestly, you can make it less, more, whatever, but 53%, 45%, 55 is perfect sweet spot for me. And then all we're gonna do is we're gonna go to share and we're gonna download it as a PNG, or you can download it as a PDF. And then you're gonna print on glossy photo paper. Most of the photo paper is 8.5 by 11 anyways. A lot of the standard frames, I will put the a screenshot of the one that I used, the one that I purchased from Target, because I just thought it looked better than the ones at Dollar Tree, personal preference. But you can use the photo frames at Dollar Tree. You're gonna print this on regular inkjet photo paper. My go-to for this project was Kodak. Kodak is chef's kiss to me when it came to this, and I'm using a Canon printer, but any inkjet printer will work. Just make sure you change your settings if need be. I did not do an assembly part because I'm pretty sure y'all know how to take apart a photo frame and put the photo in there, so I didn't think that that was necessary. But either way, save it as a PNG or save it as a PDF. If you don't have an inkjet printer, you can go to CVS and get it printed. And I think the prints are like $5 now. And this is something you can make for yourself, your aunts, grandmas, things like that. But I hope y'all enjoyed it. That was quick and to the point.